Hello, my name is Chad. This video is part 3 of my Harry Connick Jr. vinyl collection. This is part 2 of the 1990s. I'm going to continue on from the last video with one more record from 1992, and that is 11. This album is actually a reissue of an album that was released on an independent label back in 1978. That album was titled Pure Dixieland. Pure Dixieland featured an 11-year-old Harry Connick Jr. After he became a worldwide famous musician, Columbia Records decided to reissue the album and title it 11. This is a really enjoyable album to listen to. It's almost entirely instrumental Dixieland music. The musicians on here are top-notch. There's one song on here, which is track number 6, that Harry Connick Jr. actually sings on, and that's Muskrat Ramble. And that's a pretty interesting song to listen to because it sounds like he's trying to do an impersonation of Louis Armstrong with that deep, gravelly voice, only you can hear that, you know, it's an 11-year-old boy singing like that. So it's a lot of fun. But other than that, his piano playing on here is what you would expect from Harry Connick Jr., even at that young age of 11 years old. But if you think about it, his piano teachers were Ellis Marsalis and James Booker. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that as piano teachers. I'm planning on at some point picking up a copy of Pure Dixieland. It should be a super rare record, but with the internet, nothing is really super rare anymore. Pure Dixieland is on Discogs. There's a few copies on there right now for sale. It pops up on eBay once in a while. Someday I'm going to add a copy to my collection just so I have everything. But for now, I'm happy with this because this is officially part of his discography under the Harry Connick Jr. name, whereas Pure Dixieland is not a Harry Connick Jr. album, at least not when it was released. This is on the Columbia label, and this was pressed in Greece. This next album is a compilation that was released in 1993. This is called Forever for Now. This compilation was only released in Europe, Asia, and South Africa. It was never released in the United States. It was only released on vinyl in Europe. It was also released on CD in Europe, and then other parts of the world, Asia and South Africa, depending on the country, it was either released on CD or cassette. This album has a really nice mix of songs from Harry's first 7 albums. It really has everything on here that you'd want to hear from those albums from the debut up through 25. I'll go through the track listing real quick. Side 1 has It Had to Be You from When Harry Met Sally, Love Is Here to Stay from the debut, Forever for Now from We Are in Love, Stardust from 25, Do You Know What It Means to Miss New Orleans from 20, Recipe for Love from We Are in Love, One Last Pitch Take 2 from Lofty's Roach Souffle, Heavenly from We Are in Love, and then side 2 has Blue Light Red Light from Blue Light Red Light, But Not For Me from When Harry Met Sally, Little Clown from the debut, Where or When from When Harry Met Sally, Don't Get Around Much Anymore from When Harry Met Sally, You Didn't Know Me When from Blue Light Red Light, It's All Right With Me from We Are in Love, then the final track is We Are in Love from the album of the same name. It comes with this really nice inner sleeve. It has the track listing and the albums that each song is on. Then the other side is a photo. This is from the album 25. And this is on the CBS Sony label. This copy was pressed in Spain. Now there is a mistake on here on the label for side 1, track 2. It says Our Love Is Here to Stay, which would be the song from When Harry Met Sally. Love Is Here to Stay is the instrumental from the debut album. On the jacket, it does list it correctly as Love Is Here to Stay, and on the inner sleeve, it lists the song title correctly, but underneath, it says From When Harry Met Sally. So that was interesting thing that I noticed, and if you actually look at the Discogs listing for this record, you'll see that notated on Discogs, and I'm actually the one to put that note there. We are now moving into the Holy Grail area of the Harry Connick Jr. vinyl discography. These last 3 records I'm going to show in this video are by far the rarest and most valuable Harry Connick Jr. records. What makes them so rare is these particular albums were only pressed to vinyl in Holland. The previous albums I've been showing from Europe were usually pressed in Holland and Spain. Some were also pressed in the UK, but these 3 only were pressed in Holland, and so they're much harder to obtain, and therefore they're much more expensive to obtain. I'm lucky enough to have obtained 1 copy of each in near mint condition. So the next record I'm going to show is from 1993, and that is When My Heart Finds Christmas. This was Harry Connick Jr.'s first Christmas album, and this is a really nice mix of traditional Christmas songs along with 4 originals that Harry wrote for this album. And the 4 originals are my favorites by far off of this album, and those are When My Heart Finds Christmas, It Must Have Been Old Santa Claus, which is probably my favorite off of this album, The Blessed Dawn of Christmas Day, and I Pray on Christmas. Actually, I might take that back. I Pray on Christmas is pretty good too. That might be my favorite. But it's either way, it's a really great album, and it only gets played a few times in December, but I really enjoy it whenever I put it on. Comes with this nice printed inner sleeve that has the lyrics and some photos of Harry. There he is chopping wood. And here is the label. This is on the Columbia label, and again, this was pressed in Holland. In 1994, Harry Connick Jr. took a sharp left turn in his musical direction, and he released this album. This one is titled She. When I bought this album in 1994, took it home and listened to it, I was not expecting what I heard on this album. And quite honestly, it took me some time to come around to it, but 30 years later, I really enjoy this album, and I really like that he was trying some new things. It's always good for an artist to move in different directions instead of doing the same old album after album. But sometimes it is a little bit of a shock to the system when you're used to one thing and then something completely different comes out. But this album does contain one of my all-time favorite Harry Connick Jr. songs. That's from side 2, Honestly Now, Safety's Just Danger, Out of Place. That, in my opinion, is one of the best songs that Harry Connick Jr. has written. This comes with the printed inner sleeve that has all the lyrics, and then it has the credits on the other side. It has 2 notes on here. The one on the bottom here is the note from Harry Connick Jr. The one on the top is from Ramsey McLean, who was the collaborator that Harry worked with on this album. In fact, Ramsey McLean actually does vocals on 2 tracks. They're 2 kind of odd tracks, Follow the Music and Follow the Music Further. Follow the Music is only a minute long. Follow the Music Further is a minute 20 long. And Ramsey McLean is just doing a spoken word kind of thing over the music. It's very interesting, but again, very different from anything that Harry has ever done previously. And then here is the label. Again, this is pressed in Holland. And then going back to the jacket, just want to mention it has the hype sticker stuck directly to the jacket, and you can see where the glue over the years has started to turn it yellow there. Of all the photos I've seen of this album, I've never seen it without the hype sticker, so I'm assuming that they just stuck the hype sticker on every single copy of this album. The last album I have to show for this video, Harry Connick Jr.'s second funk album, released in 1996. This is Star Turtle. The single that was released from this album is Hear Me in Harmony, which is a really great song. But my favorite song on this album is track 2 from side 1, How Do Y'all Know? I really love that one. This is somewhat of a concept album. To my knowledge, all of the songs are not related. However, there are 4 songs on here that are, and they're titled Star Turtle 1 through 4. I don't claim to know everything about the story and concept behind those 4 tracks, but from what I understand, it's about a space traveling turtle who lands in New Orleans. And so I'll just leave it at that. It comes with a printed inner sleeve. It has all the band members listed on this side. And on the other side, it has the credits, the thank yous, and a more detailed list of the musicians over here and which instruments specifically they played on each song. No note from Harry on this album. And then here is the label, and again, pressed in Holland. That concludes the albums from the 1990s. The next video will pick up in 2001. Unfortunately, the 2 albums released between 1996 and 2001, To See You from 1997 and Come By Me from 1999, were never released on vinyl. And that's unfortunate because these are 2 of my very favorite Harry Connick Jr. albums. I would love to have these on vinyl, but unfortunately, they've only been released on CD, but I still enjoy them anyway. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I hope you'll join me in the next video as I continue through Harry Connick Jr.'s vinyl discography.